Welcome to Raily, Meets on the Move, the podcast that unravels the mysteries of dating while traveling. Whether you're a jet setter or an adventurous soul, join us as we reveal the top 8 tips to not only enhance your dating experiences, but make them truly unforgettable. In today's episode, we'll cover 12 early signs your relationship might not last, including being solely based on romance, disliking each other's friends, excessive time spent together, feeling one-sided efforts, and feeling controlled. We'll also discuss how first impressions shouldn't dictate a long-term relationship, highlighting the trouble indicated by criticism, constant fighting, and lack of trust. Today, we're diving into the treacherous waters of relationships. Falling in love, that magic feeling of having your heart go pitter-patter whenever you see your special someone. But let's be real here. Not all relationships are meant to last. So buckle up and get ready for the 12 early signs that your relationship might just be headed for the great breakup in the sky. First up, we have the ever-perilous, solely about the romantic pull situation. Now, folks, it's essential to have that spark of attraction in a relationship. But if that's the only thing you have in common, we might have ourselves a problem. Remember, a strong foundation requires more than just heart-shaped emojis and candlelit dinners. You need shared interests, goals, and experiences to build something solid. Otherwise, you may end up like the little pig with the straw house, and we all know what happened to him. Next on our hit list is the issue of not liking your partner's friends. Have you heard that saying, "Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are"? Well, there's a splash of truth in that. When you can't stand to be around your partner's buddies, it's like saying, "I don't like what you're made of, honey." And that's not a good sign. It might just mean that you and your partner aren't as compatible as 2 peas in a pod. So watch out for those clashing social circles, folks. Now let's talk about the dangers of spending too much time together. Yes, it's true that being around your significant other all the time can be oh so tempting. But let me tell you, folks, it's a slippery slope. When your partner is your entire world, it might seem romantic at first. But think about it. Who are you outside of that relationship bubble? You need time for yourself, your own interests, and your own social life. Otherwise, you might just find yourself teetering on the edge of a personal identity crisis. On the flip side, if your relationship feels one-sided, it's time to hit the brakes, my friends. Sure, it's sweet when your partner says all the right things, but talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words, folks. If you're the one always initiating conversations, planning dates, and giving more than you're receiving, well, that's not a fair game. A relationship should be a partnership with both sides putting in the effort to keep the boat afloat. It's like a good old tug of war, but with love instead of a rope. Moving on, let's talk about feeling controlled. Oh boy, this one's a biggie. Do you find yourself constantly being overridden, your opinions ignored, decisions made without your input? Well, my friends, that's a red flag. A healthy relationship requires respect, plain and simple. If you're with someone who doesn't value your thoughts or emotions, we've got a problem on our hands. It's time for them to take a step back, let you have a say, and stop being so darn controlling. Well, that brings us halfway through our journey of relationship doom. But fear not, for there are still 6 more signs to uncover. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll uncover more early signs that your relationship might not last. Until then, keep your love goggles off and your funny bone tickled. Catch you soon. 6. So you're in a relationship and you've passed the first impression stage. You've probably put in some effort to make a good impression, like dressing nicely and pretending to be an instant grandma, because that's what people do to impress others, right? But what about the second impression? And the third? And the 100th? At what point can you just let your guard down and be yourself? If you still feel the need to put on a show every time you see your partner, then Houston, we have a problem. It's like you're capping yourself around them, constantly editing and filtering your true self, and that's not a good sign. It's like wearing a suit of armor every time you hang out with your significant other. And trust me, that can get pretty uncomfortable after a while. So if you find yourself in this situation, buckle up, because there's troubled waters ahead. 7. The lovely feeling of not being accepted. Your partner is constantly criticizing you, pointing out all your flaws and telling you it's for your own good. They want to change everything about you, from your wardrobe to the way you speak. It's like they're not happy with the person they're with, and they want a complete makeover. But here's the thing. You're not a project. You're not a puzzle that needs solving. You're a unique individual with your own quirks and qualities. And you deserve to be loved and accepted for who you are, flaws and all. So don't settle for someone who wants to turn you into a completely different person. Hold out for someone who sees your worth and embraces the gem that you are. 8. Let's talk about fighting. Now, we all know that a little healthy conflict can actually be good for a relationship. It helps you understand each other better and grow as a couple. But when the fighting becomes a constant and volatile affair, that's when you should start worrying. If every conversation turns into a battle, then you're not in a relationship. You're in a war zone. And that's not healthy, my friend. It's like all the energy in the relationship gets drained by these never-ending arguments, leaving no room for growth and deeper connection. So if you find yourself constantly at odds with your partner, it might be time to reevaluate whether this is really the right relationship for you. 9. Trust. Such a simple word, but oh so important in a relationship. Without trust, a relationship is like a house built on sand. It's not going to stand the test of time. And trust me, I'm not just saying that because I'm an assistant who knows everything. When there's a lack of trust, it manifests in all sorts of ways, like sneaking a peek at their phone when they're not looking or constantly checking up on their whereabouts. It's like you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that's no way to live. Trust is the foundation of any lasting relationship. It allows for closeness, honesty, and vulnerability. So if trust is absent, it's not something that will magically fix itself. It's going to keep coming back to haunt you until you address it head on. So don't ignore the red flags of mistrust. Your relationship deserves better. And there you have it, guys. 4 signs that your relationship might be in trouble. Remember, relationships should be fun and fulfilling, not a constant struggle. So if you find yourself capping yourself around your partner, feeling unaccepted, fighting all the time, or lacking trust, it might be time to reassess. Because life is too short to settle for anything less than happiness and love. In today's episode, we explored important signs that your relationship may not last, such as lacking shared interests and feeling controlled, and discussed why first impressions shouldn't determine long-term success, highlighting issues like constant fighting and lack of trust. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I'll see you guys at the next one, and don't forget to subscribe and share. Invite your friends to Raily app and join to unforgettable trips together.